Hey, my name is Dan. Welcome to my shop. And wow, it's really good to see you here again. I've been away for a little while, took a little bit of a vacation or a holiday, as those in Europe would call it. But when visited Hawaii, it was a nice little stay. But it got me away from the building table for a while, but now I'm back. And what we've got here is kind of what I left you off with before. The first video, I got the stabilizer done, and that's this here. Now, there is an addition to this. Let's go ahead and talk about that. This is called the Beavertail, which is kind of funny because all the parts I've been working on have been the tail of the beaver. Okay, that was a joke. Anyways, this is the Beavertail. It goes onto the back here, and it hides the torque rod that is used for powering the elevator halves. So this one right here, this is the single servo operator of this. And by the way, that's something I've really become very fond of lately, is having the simplicity of a torque rod to power both halves of a big elevator. So like in this case here, what I've been finding is, well, let's take a look at the elevators. That's the next step I've finished up, putting the elevator halves together. And they both fit right back on the back right here, so that when everything is copacetically done, you've got a full elevator back there. The thing I've been noticing is if I've got an airplane that's got two servos controlling the two elevator halves, I've been finding a lot of things like, well, the servos, no two servos match. And so what'll happen is I'll pull back to see that I've got the same amount of throw. With no adjustments to the servos, I'll get a throw that looks like this. And it's like, no, that's not right. So I adjust this one to make it so that the end point gets here. But then when it comes down, it won't go down as far as the other one. Had that happen a couple different times. Same exact servo, same exact model number. And for some reason, they just weren't the same. One was slower, like one sometimes when you pull back real fast, you'll notice one is slower to come to the final endpoint, and it's just a pain in the butt. So the answer is, once again, keeping it simple. I like this because you've got one input. You have one servo that's going to be powering this one. It'll power both halves at the same time, like this. And that's, to me, a good thing. Now, this was the next piece that I was going to show you. These or the finishing up of the stabilizer and the elevator. And so the finishing work that has to be done on these, I'm going to wait on. You'll notice that I've got the counterweights on there, and they're still their original block form. Those are going to have to be shaped down and sanded and smooth, and they look really nice. And God, there's cat hair all over everything. Can you explain this to me, miss? Yeah, not really. Anyways, the counterweights are going to have to be slimmed down to make them like they're shaped like a bullet when you're done with it. And I like to wait until I'm about to cover it, because every time that I have done all the work, shaved this down, made it look nice, made it perfect, and then put it aside somewhere, it falls off the table, or a cat comes along and knocks it off the table. Yeah, she has no idea what I'm talking about. And or something else, some part will get put on it and it'll put a dent in the wood or something like that. And I'll have to go back and refinish it or fill it with putty if it got damaged somehow. So I'm going to leave these pretty much just as they are. And then this last step before covering them, which they're going to have to be covered before I put them onto the fuselage anyways, that's going to be the time that I'm going to sand these down. And I also did that on the next piece here. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Next piece is this is the vertical stabilizer, also known as the dorsal fin, and it's a good looking one. Very unique design here. I really like this. I mean, the pieces of sheeting he had all cut so that they were just punch them out and glue them together, and they match perfectly. Fit this thing greatly. This particular dorsal fin, now I'm going to tell you, most of the time, a dorsal fin on a big scale project like this is taking like a 1/2 inch piece of wood and just say, just give you a block of wood and say, make this look like a tail feather. Okay. And so they don't really give you too much imagination to go with there. You got to shape it up. Plus, there's problems with it. It's heavy. It's a full piece of wood, just a regular piece of balsa, is going to be much heavier. This is hollow on the inside, and this is totally built up. So it's got fins running through it, up and down. And so it's nice and lightweight. And then he figured out a way to attach it to a spleen that goes from here down to here. And what that spleen is a piece of hardwood. It's plywood. It's like 1 millimeter thick. But what it does is it makes a nice, strong leading edge on this thing. And then it's built up with 2 other pieces of wood to form this. It looks really rough. I mean, if you take a look at it, it looks really rough the way it is. And that's because it is built up of a few different pieces of wood. And they're going to have to eventually be sanded down to make it look like the leading edge. But before that happens, I'm going to be adding some of this stuff that Mark showed me. This is plastic filler putty. Yeah, plastic wood from DAP. And it's nice, lightweight, and it's also the color of wood. But that's going to be going into every single one of these little crevices and the join ups here. And so that'll go in there, and once again, that's more finishing work that's coming down the road, and I'll be doing that shortly. My nose is running today. It's cold out here. Okay, and then the last piece is, of course, you got a dorsal fin, you got to have a rudder to go with it. And this is the rudder that was put together. Once again, same thing, finned all the way through. And then also had 2 very nice pieces of balsa sheeting to go on here. The wood quality in this kit is really good, I got to tell you. But anyways, it's all put together right here. And, when it's ready to go, it's going to look just like that. So that's what I've got going so far on the Beaver. The next step is going to be, I believe, the wing halves are going to be the next step. So I'm excited about getting going on that. But until then, like I said, I'm going to wait on the finishing work on this. I got to find some covering for this bird. I'm not sure what I want to do it at, and I don't even have a paint job in mind. So all these things you got to worry about. Isn't it great, Kitty? Very stressful, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to catch you up to speed as to where I'm at on the Beaver, and the wings are coming up next. We're starting to set up the wing panels now. We've got the set of plans nailed down to the. I'm just so excited about this. This is my new metal table. This is the first time I've actually used it for what I got it in here for. This is the metal table that will be able to hold my magnets for my layout, and I'm actually laying it out onto the metal. It's big enough to hold the entire plan on it. So to kind of show off on this first run, I'm going to lay out both wing panels because there's a plan for each wing panel here. Usually they have a half wing panel plan. Some you have to build upside down and right side up. This one actually had 2 functioning plans right next to each other. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got the bottom sheeting set down in here. And anyways, it's just getting started, starting to take shape. Next step is going to be to add the cap strips to it, and then start filling in like the ribs and things like that. But I wanted to show this to you because I think this is just really cool to have this table, and it works just for doing this type of work. The magnets are fantastic on it, and so I don't have to have that piece of sheet metal that really limits. I think the sheet metal was 24-inch wing cord, and that was the biggest I could do on that thing. Well, this one I could do obviously a 36-inch wing cord, so I guess that means that I should get some even bigger airplanes, huh? I mean, you got to use it. Anyways, I wanted to show that to you. One other thing, do you happen to notice that your fingers look like this after you're working with your wood and the table and the glue and the chemicals that we have to work with? Yeah, that's what mine looked like this week. And so, well, wanted to let you know you might want to get yourself some kind of a hand lotion to help protect your fingertips, because you know, they take a lot of abuse and we use them constantly. But by being able to put this O'Keeffe's Working Hands cream on, this is good stuff. I like it because it is not greasy in formula. So like you put it on and you could fill it on, but it doesn't leave a bunch of fingerprints. It has no fragrance. So it's like for guys, you know? Just wanted to let you know about this stuff. You could find this probably at like your local hardware store or your drugstore or something like that. But you can also get it from Amazon. I'll put a link down below and you can get it from there if you want to. It's fairly cheap stuff too. I think this one's like $6 or $7. Wasn't too bad. So yeah, I'll go ahead and leave a link for that. And I'll let you go for today. But hey, come on back here next time. And in the meantime, get building something out there, okay? See you later.